Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to perform CRUD operation for images like create, read, update, delete to Google Drive. Like we will be performing CRUD operation in Google Drive for images, and we will be creating an Android plugin for the Godot game engine. Also we will be using Credential Manager for this. So let's get started. So the first thing which you have to do is go to Godot engine and create a Godot project. I have already created it. Ignore all this code which I have written. I will come back to that later on. The next thing which you have to do is you will have to go to project, and here you will have to click on this install Android build template. I have already installed it, that's why it is showing me like this, but you will have to install the Android build template first. Then you will have to go to project, export, and here you just click on add Android. As you can see, I have already added it. At the bottom you might see some red lines like fix import button. Just click on the fix import button. You might see it over here along with this export project here. Okay, just click on that fix import and the issue will be resolved. Then here click on this use Gradle checkbox. Here you will have to check what device you are trying to run your Android application on, what architecture of Android. If you don't know, select all four of this. And the important thing is you will have to give your Godot some package name, Godot project some package name. I have kept it simple, com.mygodot name. Typically it is com.your company name .your app name, but yeah, for me it is fine. Now just copy this unique package name. Then the next thing is you will have to go to Google Cloud Console. I'm already in Google Cloud Console. Here you will have to click on select a project, click new project, give your project whatever name you feel like. I'll just click on create. Once the let's wait for the project to get created. Okay, once the project is created, just select the project, and inside the drop down you should be able to see your project. Then click on API and services, enable API and services. Then click on enable API and services, and here you have to search for Google Drive. Select Google Drive API, enable this. Once it is enabled, click on credentials, click on create credential, click on create API key. We are not really using this API key, but anyways I am creating the API key just to be on the safer side, so I'll just close it. Then click on create credentials, click on OAuth client ID. Here click on configure consent screen. I'll just close this. Here you will have to select external, click create. Give your app some name. I will just give it as my app. Select your support email ID, and I'll just scroll down, and here you will have to enter your own email ID, so I will just do that as well. I'll click on save and continue. Then scroll down again, click on save and continue, and here you will have to add some users. Now we haven't deployed this app to Google Play Store. Also there are some additional steps which you have to do to make this app production ready on Google Cloud Console as well, which I will tell you later. But given that we are still in the debug mode, here you will have to click on add users, and here you will just have to enter that email ID. Oh sorry, this is not my email ID. So enter some email ID of your testers or email ID of yourself, and you will have to use this email ID as long as you are in the testing mode or testing with debug APK. So I'll just click. You can add multiple email IDs as well. So here you can see my email ID was added. Now I'll have to use this email ID only while performing CRUD operations like create, read, update, delete on Google Drive. Then I will just click on save and continue. Once that is done, I'll just scroll down, click on back to dashboard. Here if you see this publish app, you will have to click on this once you deploy your app to Google Play Store. I haven't deployed it yet, so I won't be doing this, so I'll just ignore this for now. Then again you will have to click on credentials. Here you will have to click create credentials, OAuth client ID, and here select Android. Now we have to get this package name, so just paste my package name over here. How to get the SHA-1 certificate for this? So for this you have to run a particular command. Okay, so given that we are still using debug APK, if you go to this developer documentation for Godot game engine on developer.android.com, here you can see that for macOS the default location is this one. If you are on Windows, you will have to use this one. We haven't created our release APK, that's why we have to use the debug key store. Now for getting the SHA-1, you can just run this particular command which I have. But here you can see that I'm on macOS, that's why I'm using this particular path which has been given inside the documentation over here. But if you have created release APK, then you will get the release key store. Then you will have to replace this with the release key store path. Similarly, this is the default value for debug APK. If you are created release APK, change it with the release alias value. Similarly, for release value, change it with release store password, and for release, change it with release key password, whatever you have set. But this is for debug key store. So I'll just copy this command, and I have already seeded it into my Godot project, and I'll just run this particular thing, and I'll click on enter, and here you can see this is my SHA-1 certificate. So I'll just copy this, and I'll go back over here, I'll paste it. Okay, and again you will also need to verify ownership if you are deploying it to Google Play Store. I'm not really doing that, so I'll just ignore, and I'll click on create. Now it has created this OAuth client ID, but I don't really need this for Android. For Android we do have to create this Android client ID, but the client ID which we will be using is the web one. So I'll just click on OK, click create credentials, OAuth client ID, select web application, and here just click on create. Here is our client ID, I'll copy it. I'll go to our Godot project, and I will just paste it for now somewhere over here because we will be using it later on. Okay, so this is done. Now the next thing is coming back to our code. Okay, the next thing is this is the documentation for Godot Android plugin creation. I won't be going into the documentation. I have created a cheat sheet for myself, and I will be following that cheat sheet. But if you're confused with my cheat sheet, you can follow the Godot Android plugin documentation. So first what you will have to do is, using Android Studio, you have to create an Android project. Ignore all this code which I have. Okay, once again you can create a Jetpack Compose, empty views project, empty compose project, doesn't really matter. Choose either one of this and create a project. Again, the Gradle syncing will take a little bit of time, but once the project is created, you should see something like this. You won't see this my library folder, you will just see this app as well as this Gradle scripts thing. Once you see this, if you're not able to see this, go inside this Android drop down. Again, the Gradle syncing will take time, so be patient. Once that is done, once the project creation is completed, just right click on the app folder, new module, select Android library, and here you can give your library module name whatever you want. I have given it as my library, and here you can see it is not allowing me to create one because I have already created this. And then you just have to click on finish. But if you want to change the package name, you can change it. It doesn't has to be same as that of your Godot Android package name. Change it to whatever you feel like, and then just click on finish. Once that is done, you will see a folder like this. Again, the Gradle syncing will take a little bit of time, so be patient. Once you see that, you will have to open this Gradle scripts. You will have to open the build.gradle of your library, so the third one, and then you will have to scroll down. First we have to import the Godot dependency. Now this is a new thing in newer Android versions called version catalog. So we don't write the version number over here, we write the version number inside libs.versions.toml. so I will come back to that file later on. So for now, just write libs.godot. Okay, next, these three dependencies are for Google sign in using Credential Manager, so add this as well. And these three dependencies are for Google Drive integration, so add this as well. Next you will have to go to libs.versions.toml, and here you can see I have added these credentials. At the time of me recording, I am using Godot 4.3.0 stable, but if you are using some higher version, make sure you update that as well. Here you can see that I'm not really using this activity, but if you are using some older version, Android Studio will give you a warning. You can just update to whatever is the latest version. Okay, and then this is Google API client Android dependency which you are using. This is for Google API services drive. So if you see over here, sorry, I'll come back to this later on. Then you also have to add this Google ID. Okay, then this play services auth as well. Okay, so you have to add all this dependency, and then scroll down. Here you have to add these two things, so make sure you add this. And here you can see inside Android X credential we are referencing this credential, so it will take this particular thing. And here also we are referencing the same thing, Android X credentials, so it will take the dependencies from over here. Next is this credential play services auth. This is our Godot dependency. This is the Google API client Android dependency. This is the Google API services drive dependency. Then Google ID also you need to add, and what else, and this play services auth also you need to add, so this one as well. Okay, so make sure your this thing looks similar to mine. Okay, so these are all the dependency which I have added. There are a bunch of dependencies which are already present, so don't worry too much about it, like this core KTX, then this JUnit, Android X JUnit, so don't worry too much about it. So all you have to do is all these dependencies, and here make sure you add this, then this, and here you will have to add this one, these two, these three, and then you will have to add this as well. Then once you do that, you just have to click on the sync now button, and it will download all the dependencies for you. Once that is done, you can go to the Kotlin plus Java folder inside your module, come over here and create a Kotlin file called Godot Android plugin. Just right click, new Kotlin file, give name as Godot Android plugin. I'll scroll up. So these are all the imports which we are using. There are some dead imports as well, so I think remove unused imports, optimize imports. So hopefully, yeah, so firstly you can copy all the imports which I have. I will slowly scroll through this. The reason you should copy my imports is because for a single value there are multiple imports. You might import the wrong thing, so it's better you copy what I have. I'll simply scroll through this. These are all the imports which I am using. Okay, then here we are extending Godot plugin as well as lifecycle owner because I want to make use of Kotlin coroutines, so this is the boilerplate code for it. Then this is the Google ID option. Okay, is update, I will explain you why I'm using it. So basically I have two buttons, upload an image and update an image. Both upload and update first opens the image picker, so I need to know which button was called. That's why I'm keeping this boolean. This user email you will get once you sign in the using Credential Manager. The uploaded file ID is basically like once you upload an image or any file to Google Drive, you get the file ID. Then to read, update or delete that particular file, you can use that particular file ID. That's why this variable. Then this is Credential Manager. The image dictionary is to send the image once we read the image from Google Drive back to Godot side from native Android. This is for getting the permission for opening our image picker once we try to upload or update an image. Then here once Godot setup is completed, we initialize our Credential Manager. This is my plugin name. Make sure you remember your plugin name. It can be anything, but we will be using this plugin name in multiple places, so yeah, do remember this one. Here I have few signals. So signals basically are used to send data from native Android side to Godot side. So once the Google user signs in using Google Credential Manager, I'm sending only the email thing, but if you want to send more data you can do that. Then this file ID is only for once you have uploaded the image, and this image signal is for once we click on the read button and read that particular image from Google Drive, I'm sending that image in form of dictionary. Then this is the method for login. Now I have already explained it to already made a video about Credential Manager in Godot game engine, so I'm not going into the details. So basically you have to create this message, this nonce. Okay, then here is the important thing. So whatever client ID you got from Google Cloud Console, paste it over here. Don't copy mine, it won't work for you. And this everything remains the same thing. Okay, then here we get this credential request, then we call this get credential method, and here we pass the result to our handle sign in method. So here is our handle sign in. So first one is for passkey, we are not interested in that. Password, we are not interested in that. So this is for Google sign in, the custom credential. So here you can see I am getting all the data, but for sending I am only sending the person ID, which is the email of the user. So that's how I am sending the data. Okay, then is logout. So I'm not really using logout, but in case if you are interested, this is the code for it. Then the get permission. Now before you perform any type of CRUD operation to Google Drive, you need to get the permission of Google Drive. So user needs to give you the permission. So once you call this particular method, the user will be presented with a modal pop-up saying that this app requires all this permission, either give it or don't give it. So that's what this code is about. So we are asking for all the permission. If the user is asking for the very first time, he will come over here. Okay, and once you come over here, the callback goes over here. So I'll just show it to you. Scroll down, you have to override one more method. So this particular method comes. Okay, so here this is for images, speaking images, ignore this for now, but the callback comes over here for Google Drive permission when you are asking it for the very first time. And once the user gives the permission, that means permission granted. If something goes wrong, then I'm just displaying a toast message. If you want, you can again send a signal back to Godot side once the permission has been granted. I'm not really doing that. Okay, then again I'll scroll up. But suppose if you already have the permission, and again if you call this get permission button, so this get permission method, then the callback comes over here. So the permission is already granted. In case of failure, it will come over here, or in case the user rejects your permission. Okay, then this one is for upload. So basically I'm sending the email back to Godot side, right? Like while calling the upload, I'm again sending the email which we receive on Godot side back to native Android side. So here is update is false. Okay, and here I'm just setting user email, and here we are just requesting first for permissions to access image. Again the call will come over here. So I'll just show it to again. We have to override this particular method called on main request permission result. I know, so there is something called register for activity result as well, where we don't require permission, but that is very difficult to use with Godot Android plugin. That's why we have to use this particular approach. So I'm just passing this image request code, checking for it. If yes, and then we basically grant all the permission and start activity for result. So it internally calls this particular code, and here you can see once we have the image URI of the selected image, depending on whether is update is false or true, we call the appropriate method, whether update file or upload file. Okay, so hopefully you are getting it. I know it's a little bit confusing, but just bear with me. Again I'll just scroll up. So here you can see this is for upload. Okay, then this is for reading. So I'm just calling this read file method, which I will show you shortly. Update same, upload file ID which I'm sending. So upload file ID basically while uploading, once upload is successful, we send the file ID back to Godot side. Then again Godot will send it for reading, updating, as well as for deleting. And for updating also we do the same thing like upload, and for deleting we just call the delete file method. Here I have created this helper method because once you pick an image URI, like pick an image, we get the image URI, we need to convert it to a file. So that's why this helper method has been created. This is also a helper method to get the file extension from the URI, and this is for copying string, again another helper method. Then here is our upload file method. So I'm just making use of dispatcher.default. This code which you see is boilerplate code which you have to write while performing any type of CRUD operation on Google Drive. If you want, you can just take this out inside its own method, but I have kept it. Okay, and once that is done, then once we get the file from our image, we have to convert it to Google Drive file. That's what I'm doing it over here, and then we just call this particular thing. That means the file has been uploaded and I'm sending the file ID back to Godot side. Similarly for reading, This, like I told you, this is boilerplate code which you have to write. Then we get byte array output stream, we get bitmap out of it, and then we just assign it to our dictionary and send it back to Godot side. Okay, then this is again another helper method which I have created. This is for deleting the file. Again, this is boilerplate code which you have to write, and here how we are deleting the file. If you want to permanently delete the file, use this code. If you just want to move the file to thrash, you can uncomment this code and comment this out, so it's up to you. Okay, and this is for updating the file. So again, the same boilerplate code which we have till here. Then this is our file metadata, file content, updated file. Okay, and I'm just displaying a toast message, but if you want to send data back, you can do that. This on main request permission result which I have already shown you, and this is on main activity result which I have shown you as well. And these are some helper variables which I have created. So again, I'll just scroll up and scroll down quickly. So if in case if you have missed anything, feel free to pause the video and copy it. Okay, so this is done. Next, what we will have to do is we will have to go to manifest and.manifest.xml, and firstly we'll have to add internet permission for performing CRUD operation on Google Drive, and these two permission are for reading images, and this is from the Godot documentation. So this thing which you see, this should be your own plugin name, and this should be your package name. So in case if you forgot, this is your package name. Okay, and here we have written our plugin name as well. So this is our plugin name which comes over here, and this is our package name, and this is the file name which we have created. Then what you will have to do is you will have to go to the project drop down, go to my Android project, go to your module, and here you will have to create this folder called export scripts template. So you can just right click new directory and give name as export scripts template. Then inside that, firstly create plugin.cfg file. Again, I have copy pasted this from docs. This is my plugin name. Change the description author to whatever you feel like. Then create another file. So to create a file, just right click new file, give name as export_plugin.gd. Okay, again I have just copy pasted this from docs as well. Only thing is this should be your own plugin name, rest everything remains the same. And if you scroll down, you also need to add this particular method, get Android dependency, because apart from the Godot Android dependency, we have added bunch of dependency for Credential Manager as well as for Google Drive. So firstly you will have to go to libs.versions.toml, and if you see, I have added this particular dependency, right, Android X credentials. So you will have to add it over here as well as over here. Okay, and make sure you use the version which you have written inside your libs.versions.toml. so for credentials, here you can see it is 1.3.0. apart from Godot, you have to add everything. So this is the credential play services auth. If you see over here, credential play services auth, and it uses the credential dependencies only. So this 1.3.0 again. So similarly you can do it for Google ID as well, which I have added. Then is the Google API client Android dependency, then is the Google API services drive dependency, and last is Google Play services auth dependency as well. So add this as well. Okay, so make sure you add all this. Then I'll scroll back. Also one more thing which I forgot is inside build.gradle.kts, inside this particular Android block which you see, you also need to add this. So make sure you add this as well, and then click on sync now again. This is because we need to add this in one more place which I will show you shortly. This we need to do this because I think these two are present in some other Android dependency as well, and it causes conflict when you try to run your app. That's why we have to do this. Okay, so this is done. Let me go to my cheat sheet just to see. So we are done with this, we are done with this, done with this, done with this as well. Okay, then what you will have to do is you will have to go open your terminal and you will have to go to your Android project, to the root of your Android project, and then you just have to run this particular command called /gradle assemble. If you are running this for the very first time, again this will take little bit of time. What basically it does is, if you now again go to your Android project, go to your library, build, outputs, AAR, and here you should see 2 AAR files been generated. We need to use these files. So here you can see mine was success. In case if it wasn't success for you, you have made something wrong in your code, or if there is some error, then what we have to do is create our Godot project. So we have already created our Godot project, right? Then inside our Godot project we have to create a folder called add-ons. Inside that, create a folder with your plugin name. Inside that, create two folders, inside that create one folder called bin, and inside bin you will have to create two folders, debug and release. Now if you remember, we had created this export plugin.gd as well as plugin.cfg inside our Android library, right? You have to copy these two files, and if I go to my Godot project, so this is my Godot project, okay, add-ons, this is plugin, and inside your plugin name you have to paste these two files. So hopefully till here it is clear for you. Then go to bin, inside debug you have to copy this debug AR file to the debug folder. I have already copied it, and you will have to rename it to whatever is your plugin name -debug.ar. Then go to the release folder, copy this release file to the release folder, and again rename it to whatever is your plugin name -release.ar. So here you can see this is my Godot project, Android, my plugin. These two files are copied, bin, debug, inside debug AR file, and release AR file. Then you will have to again go back to your Godot project, go to project settings, go to plugins, and make sure you check this particular checkbox as well. Once you do that, here if you see my project, okay, one more thing which I forgot is you will again have to go to your Godot project, go to Android, build, and here you will have to go to build.gradle file. This is our Godot project build.gradle file, not our Android project. You will have to scroll down, and here you will have to add these two things as well. At least for now, Godot is using Groovy for that build.gradle file, but in future if they decided to change to Kotlin for their build.gradle file, then you will have to use something like this, which we have done over here, resource.exclude. But currently they are using Groovy, that's why we have to write code like this. So these two things you have to add. In case if you are working with some other developer and he installs the Android build template on his device, this things will not be persisted, and he will have to write this particular code as well on his side as well, okay, or you will have to commit this entire Android folder to Git if you are working with multiple developers. So it's up to you how you want to do it, but you have to add this bit of code. Okay, so I have explained you guys this as well. Then if you see my node scene, I have created few buttons. So if I just show it to you, login, log out, one permission button, upload, read, update and delete button. Also I have taken one image texture rect as well at the very end to display the image. Okay, then I have attached one script to it. So if you see the script, I'll just scroll down. I'm getting hold of our texture rect. This is our plugin name. This email and file ID we will get from native Android side. I'll just maximize this. Then here we initialize our engine as well as get our plugin, and here we connect all the signals which we have. Then for all the buttons I have added those on press signal. So if I select any of this button, here you can see I have added this login press signal. So for login press, this gets called. So once login, this is the method name which we have defined it on Android side. Similarly for logout, for get permission, for upload, for read, and for update, and for delete as well. And these are our signals. So once sign in is successful, once we get the data, assign it to our email, file ID, assign it to file ID, and once we read it, we get the image, then I assign it to our texture rect.texture. Okay, so hopefully all these things are clear to you. Let me quickly check if I forgot anything or not. Yeah, I have shown you this as well. Okay, I think that's it. Now just run your application. So I have already ran my application. I'll quickly show you guys the output. Remove this, I'll remove this as well, and this is my running device. Also, if you see my Google Drive at the very start, it is very empty, so there is nothing inside my Google Drive. Now sorry, I have blurred the output because once I click, you have to click on the login button. Once you click on it, then you will see a pop-up modal with all the Google sign-ins which you have used on your particular Android device. So I have used quite few of them, that's why I'm hiding, blurring it out. Next, I will have to select that email ID which I have added as a test user inside Google Cloud Console. If you have already deployed it to production and have done all the steps, then you don't have to worry too much about it. So I have signed in successfully. Next is I will just have to click on the permission button. Now I have already granted this app Google Drive permission, but for you will see a pop-up modal. If you haven't deployed your app like me to Google Play Store, you will see a pop-up modal saying Google hasn't verified this app. This is fine, just click on the continue button. After that you will see another pop-up that telling what all permission this app requires, and the user just have to click on allow. Once that is done, the user has given your app the Google Drive permission. Then I'll just click on upload. It is asking me for the permission to my media, and I'll just click on allow, and here you can see it is displaying all the images which I have. So I'll just select this first image. Once the first image is selected, it will get uploaded, and here you can see I'm also displaying a toast message. I will now go to Google Drive. I'll quickly refresh it, and here you can see this is the image which I uploaded. Okay, now again I'll come back to my app. I'll click on the read button, and here you can see it is displaying the image which I have uploaded. I'll click on update. I'll select some other image. Okay, and now that should also get uploaded. So that was also updated. I'll click on read again, and it should be able to read the new image which I had uploaded. So here you can see, and if I click on delete, the image should be deleted from my Google Drive. So file was deleted. If I go to Google Drive again, if I just refresh, here you can see the file was deleted. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.